What is going on, everybody? My name is Mike, and welcome to TrendSpider Live. Today, we're going to be watching for the Tesla earnings report. Obviously, one of the top, I believe it's the ninth largest stock in the stock market, very, very high allocations in all of the major stock indexes. So, it is going to be an incredibly important earnings report today. Should set the tone for a lot of how the market is going to react, how the sentiment is going to be for, the start of these Q3 earnings. So if you're out in the chat, go ahead and say what's up. Let me see. I'll wait a little bit for more people to kind of hop in here. 1 second here. There we go. Yes, it is live. But yes, as you can see, I have the Tesla chart showing right here, and it did just have a very, very nice breakout on the daily. This was, I believe, when Elon Musk actually went ahead and bought, I believe it was about $1 billion worth of stock. Let's see, what's up, Smurfy? What's up, Day Trader Rue? Elon wants the stock to pump before the vote on November 6th. Yeah, I'm sure Elon would always want the stock to pump. But the first thing I'm going to do here with you guys is kind of go over what's actually been going on with Tesla stock in recent times. I have a few notes that I want to put into my TrendSpider Sidekick AI right here. I'm saying with Tesla earnings coming up today after the bell, what should investors be watching out for? Here are some of my notes. I noted something very important that you guys should be aware of if you're in Tesla is that the EV tax credit recently ended. And I'm curious to see what AI has to say that is going to do for the price of Tesla cars going forward. I believe it's not going to be a very good thing. However, that tax credit did end about 20 days ago on October 1st. So it will not show up in this Q3 earnings report at all. So that means forward guidance is going to be insanely important. Smurfy, take on what? Yes, it's going to be available for playback. What's up, everybody? Go ahead and say what's up in the chat if you're out there. If you guys are new to the channel, definitely go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you guys are new to TrendSpider, you can go use the link that I'm about to drop in the chat right now to sign up, get a trial of the platform, and follow along. If you'd like, you can sign up and get a trial for as low as 19 bucks. But thank you guys so much for joining in. And say hi in the chat. Hello, hello. I'm about to give my take kind of on Tesla. For one, I was just saying that the tax credit did end about 20 days ago, and that will not be in this Q3 earnings report. Another thing, too, is that since the tax credit ended not that long ago and 20 days ago, people were actually rushing to buy Teslas, like the actual cars themselves, not the stock, because they wanted to get an EV before the tax credit ended. And so that caused it. Tesla just had its highest delivery quarter of all time this Q3. Obviously, they show off their delivery numbers before the earnings. They already released their delivery report not too long ago, and it was pretty much a record high. It was a record high. There's 497,000 deliveries as an all-time high for deliveries. And that is because people are rushing to grab Teslas before that $7,500 tax credit ended. And again, because of that, since it's not affecting Q3, forward guidance is going to be huge. That is what Sidekick is saying right here. Let's see. Without the tax credit, EVs essentially become $7,500 more expensive to consumers. So Tesla has two choices: keep prices the same and demand drops, or cut prices. And basically what Tesla did, if you guys didn't hear the news as well, is that they released a cheaper version of the Model 3 and the Model Y, most likely to negate the effects of that. I don't know how good that is going to work for them. They also just recently gave like a lease discount. It was a very short discount, but I saw a news article that they were giving like a discount on like Model 3 leases, like 50 or 100 bucks or something per month, just until like the next week or two. I think it ends on like November 1st or something. So who knows what happens, what's going to happen with that. So we will see. We will see. And I also asked what it means for General Motors and Ford stock. obviously, if you guys haven't seen GM, they just reported earnings, I believe it was like yesterday, and they are absolutely flying on the news. They had, I believe, a double beat. Let me go ahead and put up my reports tab right over here. Add this to a new column. And as you can see on my valuation dashboard right here, GM has a PE ratio of 10, forward PE of 6, incredibly quote unquote undervalued compared to Tesla with its PE ratio around 260. But yeah, they had a surprise on revenue, which is beating expectations, and as well on EPS by 22%. But year over year, they were down, which is interesting. But obviously, you can see GM was flying on the news. So let's see what that means here. GM has been crushing it. Ford is mixed. But yeah, basically, GM and Ford are obviously a lot more diversified outside of EVs. While Tesla only sells EVs, so the tax credit hits them a little bit harder. However, for these American vehicle makers like GM and Ford, their margins, I don't even think they make money on EVs themselves. But Tesla does. So that's a pretty interesting point as well. So what to watch out for today, it's saying, is guidance. Of course, that is going to be the absolute most important thing to watch, is what the forward guidance is. Margins, since they're cutting, if they have to cut prices further, they're releasing cheaper versions of their cars. Cybertruck profitability, still not clear if it's profitable. And their energy storage business, and of course everything else that Elon is doing, with AI and robotics and all this other stuff. That is, of course, one of the reasons why Tesla does trade at such a high valuation. So obviously what his thoughts on that is going to be incredibly important as well. Looking at the chart, let's start with the top down. We'll pull up the weekly. Tesla has been doing pretty good. I'll go ahead and hide this real quick. It's valuation dashboard. As you can see, they're pretty much at all-time highs. I mean, they are what? They're down about 11% or so from their all-time high. So obviously they've been doing incredibly well, which was fueled a little bit, or quite a bit, by Elon buying right around here. One more thing I want to do as well on Sidekick. We have about 9 minutes until the market closes. We'll go ahead and see what happens to the stock after hours. Probably won't get a move till like 15 minutes after the stock market closes, but we'll see. We will see. But I am curious to hear your guys' thoughts in the chat as well. If you guys have any positions on Tesla, if you have any speculation on Tesla, definitely let me know down below. But what I'm asking Sidekick now, which is TrendSpider's AI that is connected to all of TrendSpider's market data, it is very nice, is I'm asking it to summarize the most significant recent Tesla news and plot any of the news events right on my chart. And as you can see, it's starting to plot stuff already. And then I'm also saying plot when the EV tax credit ended, just so we can see right there. I'm going to say analyze this news as well and give me brief overview of these news reports that you plotted. So I'm gonna have it summarize the news, but let's see what it plotted on my chart. So as you can see right here, we have this arrow. Elon buys $1 billion of Tesla, and that's actually on this candle. When you use the daily chart, it plots the day after. So this massive candle right here was caused by Elon Musk buying, literally on a breakout. Kind of funny on the daily chart there. And that's what started kind of this whole rally that we've had of recently. What else do we have here? EV tax credit ends October 1st. I actually want to kind of point out right here a couple of things. Let me move these so you can see them a little bit better. So the EV tax credit ended here, as Sidekick plotted nicely on my chart, on October 1st. And we got a rally. We had a breakout on the 1st, which was the opposite of probably what people are expecting, because that's not good for Tesla at all for the most part. And the stock rallied. And then the next day, we had this crazy candle. We actually had a gap up, but then it absolutely dumped on the 2nd. That's kind of when reality struck, I suppose. Yeah, Jeffrey Young. You see a lot of that lately of, seeing what Elon's going to say on the earnings report. Kind of funny. And then right over here, the reported delivery numbers, which is the 497,000 deliveries, which was their absolute highest deliveries of all time. We got the cheap Model Y launch right here. And really, you can see ever since the Elon Musk buy, we've been mostly consolidating. Other than when the EV tax credit ended, we had this breakout, then dump, and it's still kind of sat in this consolidation range. There is like some FSD probe that opened, which caused this, pretty wicked red candle right there on the 10th. But since then, we've been trading in this sort of range right here. So with this tightening, this kind of base, the earnings could be a catalyst to shoot this thing up either direction. We'll have to see. I think it's going to follow what the forward guidance is, because that's going to be by far the most important thing. And let's see what Sidekick has to say about this recent news. Let's see. So obviously Elon buys on September 12th for approximately $1 billion, which is honestly one of the most bullish things you can do as a CEO. Definitely as an insider, but obviously mostly as a CEO. It's a massive insider buy. He is putting his money where his mouth is. It's not just like a regular stock award or even just selling for money. Like an insider buy, especially from the CEO, is pretty much the most bullish thing that they can do. What's up, Monkey Man? Glad to have you in the chat. Let's see what else. EV tax credit ends. So obviously, yes, the $7,500 federal EV tax credit officially expired at midnight on the 30th. It's been known for a while that is true. But apparently after that, Tesla raised all lease prices. That's what Sidekick is telling me, to partially offset the loss. But recently they actually knocked them down, I saw, for a temporary period of time, which is going on now. So I guess if you want to lease a Tesla, it's probably maybe a good time. Yeah, market was probably pricing this in. I mean, as you can see, it broke out on the news, which is kind of like, I guess, fade the news event. It was supposed to be bad. Everyone knew about it. Stock goes up. Next day sees crazy dump. Stocks doing stock market things, doing the exact opposite of what people expect. It's usually how it works. October 2nd, they released the delivery numbers at 497,000. Top, best deliveries of all time. And as you can see, stock still didn't do a whole lot, still in that consolidation range. Market saw through it. I mean, obviously it's going to be a one-time surge. Everybody was knowing that people are trying to buy Teslas before the tax credit ended. So it was kind of expected. It would be weird if they didn't have the highest, deliveries of all time in a way. Cheap Model Y launch, and I think Model 3 too, yeah, released on October 7th here. Didn't really do much for the stock. If anything, it was down that day. Let's see. People, yeah, I guess analysts were saying it was not very good. By the way, it's 3 minutes till close. Let me get up the 1 minute chart here and turn on after hours data so we can see what's going on into close with Tesla. Let's see. Yeah, and then this probe happened. Let's see what happened here. So the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration opened an investigation into nearly 3 million vehicles based on the FSD violations. FSD, I guess, failed to respond properly at railroad crossings, which is, 3 million vehicles is quite a bit. So pretty serious, I would agree. So yeah, that's basically everything that's been going on with Tesla lately. Super easy to get all that news just using Sidekick. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, first time watching, or yeah, just if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so we can keep doing these live events for you guys. So let's take a look again at the chart here. Pull up the daily. One thing I wanted to show you guys too is we have this, it's called RSI divergences indicator that you can find on the TrendSpider store. But as you can see, it is showing signs of a bearish divergence lately. Move that over. You can see there is a high in the RSI, which is right around September 17th right here. Also price put in a high. And then price put in, a new high around these points right here. But RSI was putting in a lower high, which signals a bearish RSI divergence, which is a bearish sign. So you can see RSI, as we've been consolidating, has been going down pretty significantly, honestly. I mean, it was at what, like 80, pretty much like overbought, I guess, like start of quote unquote overbought levels. Now it's all the way down around like 54 or so. So that's a pretty significant decrease in the RSI. And the price was not really following. Price has been consolidating pretty much in the same spot it was, if anything higher, than when the RSI was that much higher. So momentum is most definitely dropping as we consolidate. So this earnings should be pretty huge for the stock. We just had the bell. That was very loud, but let's see what's happening on Tesla in the after hours session. We got a pretty big volume candle right there at the close, of course. I don't know if we'll see anything insane going into close. One thing I'm going to add too is trend strength candles here on my 1 minute chart, just so you can see how the overall trend is looking. Obviously, the green and cyan colored candles are going to portray when this trend is strong. And then as you can see, we're kind of in this sort of red and kind of neutral colors now as we head into earnings. So momentum not looking super great, but we'll see how that changes over time here. What is going on, SJD News? Thought I heard someone say 8% move on the numbers tonight, but didn't commit to which way. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. I can take a look here and pull up. Let me see if we have the Mentor Q levels I can put on my chart. Just got to find my API key. So actually, that is an interesting thing to know. Let's put on my gamma levels here. It's not going to work till I get my API key. Just give me 1 second here, though, guys. Let me hide that for now. I'll get those in a second here. But let's take a look at some movement. It looks like we're getting some upward movement, if anything, right now. Trend strength candles are still pretty neutral. They were looking not super hot. And this is the 1 minute chart, by the way, so take kind of this stuff with a grain of salt here. But we are getting some movement to the upside. Honestly, let me hide the trend strength candles right now so we can see the color of the candles in real time here. See, we're getting a ton of volume. At least we did on the close, of course, but see if it follows in the coming minutes here. Definitely going to get up my news widget so we can see when Tesla releases their numbers. But what are you guys seeing? What plays are you guys in? Let me move that. Let's see. All right, who's in Tesla right now? That is kind of my question to you guys, I guess. But if we look at the reports tab over here on the right side, you can see revenue growth has been pretty awful lately. It hasn't been growing at all, really. EPS has been trending downwards for quite a while now. So, yeah. It depends. I'm not exactly sure when the earnings get released. It's either going to be probably in 3 minutes or 13 minutes. Full ported Tesla 465 calls expiring this week. All right. Well, good luck to your portfolio and you. Someone's in at 434. So earlier today should be fun. 415. Oh, 415 and 434. Okay. Nice. I mean, if you're in Tesla so far, it's looking pretty nice. If you look at my sector ETF list over here on the right, it is sorted by change percent on the day. Leading the market today was energy, followed by consumer staples, which is risk off. In last place, we had tech, XLK, consumer discretionary, I believe, communications, and this is consumer discretionary. So it's basically sort of like a risk off day. Tesla getting a pretty wild candle to the downside right now. I'm going to refresh my news widget, but I do not think the numbers are out yet. What else we got? We got healthcare up. Healthcare has been doing good. SLV is actually up. I don't know if you guys have been following silver and gold, but those took kind of a dump. And while Tesla is pretty much falling off my chart as we speak, yes, this should be interesting. This is Actually a pretty decent move already. I don't think numbers are out. We're down about 2% from the top. Tesla has officially fallen off my chart. Zoom in here. Keep refreshing the news widget so we can figure out when these numbers are going to come out. If you guys are new, like this video and subscribe so you guys never miss a live stream like this. We do provide tons of free value for you guys in these streams, showing you guys our platform, using our sidekick. So it'd mean a lot if you guys did. And if you have any questions about the platform, please let me know in the comments below. I will drop a link for you guys to get a paid trial of the platform down below as well if you guys are interested in following along with us. Someone said it's out. What is it? 105. Not seeing it quite yet. You never know. Never know with these earnings releases exactly, because I feel like a lot of people report differing things. I am not seeing anything personally right now quite yet. Keep refreshing here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything yet. Maybe numbers are out. I mean, we got somewhat of a move here. Nothing too crazy yet. About a 3%-ish move or so. What are you guys seeing? So far Tesla is down from close. This is the closing candle. Yeah, it's barely moved really. I mean, we're down like 1%. Keep refreshing my news widget. Whoops. Misclick. Oh, now we're coming back up. Yeah, still nothing that I see for Tesla in our news widget yet. Yeah, still not getting a ton of movement. You're saying it's out. I see, okay, EPS miss and a revenue beat is what I'm seeing from one source, but you never know if those are right or not. But yeah, that's probably right. EPS miss, that lines up with what we've been seeing lately. And then revenue beat. Be surprised if honestly revenue didn't beat with their record deliveries. Kind of concerning that EPS missed, and this doesn't even include the EV tax credit, which is only going to hurt their margins going forward. Yeah, EPS miss, revenue beat. That kind of adds up to me. The EPS miss is a little bit surprising and definitely not a good sign. I guess not super surprising, but with a record quarter, you would assume they would maybe beat. Yeah, it's 100%. I think, I mean, honestly, the numbers mean a lot, but with all this EV tax credit stuff, it's 100% going to be reliant on the earnings call itself, which is going to come up here in a little bit. I think about an hour. So yeah, definitely you can pull up their investor relations page and take a look at their full report if you wanted. Yeah, you can see right here we got the official news desk. EPS 50 cents misses the 54-cent estimate, and sales beat. So let me see. I'm going to pull up their webcast right now and see when they're going to be live. They're going to be live for the Q&A and, kind of the earnings call itself in about 1 hour and 21 minutes. Quite a while from now, honestly. So we'll see what happens with the stock here. Very interesting. Again, if you guys are just joining in, for one, hit the subscribe button so you guys don't miss another event like this. If you're joining just now, Tesla already released earnings. Hit the notification bell so you can see us when we go live for these big market moving events. And yeah, let's see. Tesla is pretty much recovering. It's actually up now on this earnings report, really flat. Yeah, Monkey Man, I hear you. That's kind of a while to wait, isn't it? But something I want to pull up to you guys real quick while we're waiting here is my stock market map of the sector ETFs. You see my list here on the right-hand side. But as you can see right here, recently, if you guys have been following my streams, we have seen silver and gold leading the charge, but now silver is pretty much in dead last over here. Silver has been getting absolutely destroyed along with gold over the past week. You can see they're towards the top. So over the past month, they're still in the lead, but over the past week, they have really gotten rotated out of. And if you want to know what is getting rotated into, you look all the way to the right, you see XLV, which is healthcare, you see real estate, then you see bonds. So that is where the money is flowing right now. Again, this is the stock market map feature of TrendSpider. It is actually my favorite way by far to track where the money is flowing over the last 7 days and over the last 30 days. Sharib, it's not moving because pretty much everyone's waiting for the earnings call and the forward guidance from what I am seeing. Let's see. Did they release any sort of guidance is what I'm looking for now. I don't see anything on guidance yet. Sen Apex, you've been in TLT. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We'll see what happens with TLT. What are you planning to do with that position? Just hold it. Let's see. But yeah, TLT over the last 7 days, only fallen behind real estate and healthcare so far. We got a lot of stuff clustering kind of in the middle, kind of flat consolidation here on what do we got? We got SPY itself, tech, consumer staples. So pretty much all the stuff, but and then semiconductors are down slightly, still up over the last 30 days though. Yeah, no, I think TLT is probably a smart move as well. So nice there. Open to what's happening now as well. Let's take a look at the insider trades and Congress trading on Tesla. Obviously, Elon Musk bought on September 12th. And then since then, let's see, scroll to the right. We had to sell not that many shares. That's 25 million, but you know, in the grand scheme of trillion-dollar companies, that's not a lot, I guess. But yeah, this is the most interesting by far, obviously, is Elon Musk's buy. And then Congress, let's see what we got going for Congress trading. Not anything insane. These are all $1,000 to $15,000 buys, which is, you know, solid amounts, I guess, but nothing insane. Let's see. We got purchase, a lot of decent amount of sales from Congress. Anyone of note here? Rokana. There's no like Pelosi or anything in here. I see Taylor Green doing a lot of stuff. What is she doing? So Taylor, or yeah, whatever her name is, Green has been buying. There's a 100K sale right there. But yeah, Green has been buying. That was back in like May. So yeah, probably up pretty good on that at this point. Let me go to the daily. May was all the way back here. Of course. Yeah, so they're definitely up on that trade, but nothing insane recently on the what's happening now tab for Tesla, other than I guess we see a director here sold 60,000 shares, maybe just wanted some money. CFO had a sell of not that much. So yeah, really just Elon's buy is definitely the best thing happening in that sense. Let's go back to the 1 minute, see if anything's going on. Look at this 1 minute. Absolute chop fest right here. So far, if you sold options, you're probably winning. Let's see. It makes sense to move the money to home builders because if we see another rate cut, that would be a good sign for home builders like DHI and LEN. Interesting. Yeah, since his buy, let's see how much he's up. Elon buys. I think he bought around 370, probably at the low of this candle, I'm guessing. Yeah, he's up about 17%. So yeah, more than 10%. Unless he bought, stick that there. Unless he bought the top here, yeah, maybe 10%. It depends. I pretty sure he got in around 370. Did it say exactly? I think it just said, it says the date. I wonder. Shares traded 2.5 million in dollar amount. Yeah, I don't know. But I'd say he's up 10 to 17%. He's the one that really caused this rally. So we'll see what happens. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he has some pretty cool announcements to make during the earnings call. Never know. Let's see. Pull up Sidekick here and continue our conversation. So Tesla just reported their numbers with a EPS miss coming in at 0.5 versus 0.54 estimate, and then sales beat at 28.09 billion versus 26.239 billion estimated. What do you make of these numbers? For me, makes sense to me. Revenue beat with largest deliveries ever, but interesting, EPS dropped even without EV tax credit in this Q3. What are your thoughts? Just putting my thoughts in the AI here and seeing what it says, seeing if I miss anything. 396. That's interesting. Yeah, I believe it. It's Sidekick is reporting there. 396 is, yeah, maybe he bought at close. That would make sense. Or Sidekick maybe is just giving you the close price. Could be what is happening there as well. Even though Sidekick is incredible and it has data like that, you always got to take AI somewhat with a grain of salt, you know? Never fully trust anything you see online, including from AI. Now, let's see. Oh, it's saying this is ugly. Obviously, EPS miss. Revenue beat. The revenue beat is smoke and mirrors. Revenue beat makes sense with 497,000 deliveries, their best quarter ever. But here's what's wrong. Revenue growth came from volume, not pricing, 100%. That's exactly what I was saying. Deliveries were inflated, of course. Energy storage carried the revenue. They deployed a record 12.5 GWH. Not even pretend like I know that means of energy storage. This is high. It's a higher margin business, but it's masking the auto weakness. That's interesting. I wanted to see what it says about EPS. It says it should terrify you. Yeah, pretty bad revenue EPS or EPS number minus. Yeah, let's see, 23. Oh, yeah, maybe that's not updated yet. Around 23 to 30% year over year decrease. Let's see. Price cuts throughout the year. Tesla's been slashing prices since Q1 to maintain volume. Even with higher deliveries, they're making less per car. Not great. Apparently, Cybertruck, I didn't realize this, is just not even sure if it's profitable yet, which is pretty interesting. Guess a new factory in Texas, lower efficiency, R&D spending on FSD and robotaxi, which really I'm not sure how well that is going. I don't think it's going good at all. I mean, that it's still not launched. They had an okay, kind of launch release in Tesla, but kind of not really heard much about it since. So let's see. Let's go down to the bottom. And so what matters now, the conference call. What was the gross margins? Q4 delivery guidance will be huge. Cybertruck profitability, FSD robotaxi guideline. I mean, and yeah, honestly, unless Elon has some crazy stuff to say about that, which he probably will because it's Elon. He likes to overpromise historically. It's not going to be good for that. Pricing strategy going forward will be interesting. It's saying confirms the bear case for Tesla. And without the AI and robotaxi story, this is a car company trading not at 60p. You got that on. It's like at 260. And with GM mooning after their earnings, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? GM just had an crazy earnings beat. They're up like 16% over the last few days alone. So that is funny to see. So let's go back to the 1 minute on Tesla. As you can see, not much is going on. The market is clearly waiting for, after hours. So in the meantime, I wanted to show you guys a new feature actually that Sidekick can do. Sidekick can actually find stocks in the market for you now. It can actually use the TrendSpider market scanner in the background. When we first released Sidekick, it wasn't supposed to be used as a scanner or for finding stocks. But now it doesn't actually personally scan for stocks like in the LM itself. It uses the market scanner, prompts the market scanner. So as you can see here, I put in this prompt. I actually dropped a blog post that just went live not too long ago today about it in the chat if you guys want to take a look at that. Let me post this in the chat below. Yeah, Sidekick can literally scan the market for you now, or use the market scanner. And for example, I put in this prompt right now, asking it to scan, the NASDAQ NMS composite, which is over like 3,000 stocks, for stocks that gapped up today with at least an average volume of 1 million shares per day, and then rank them by bullish option sentiment score. And this is kind of a scanner to find stocks that are pretty much just, ripping on news or cool day trading stocks, I guess. Obviously, it found Beyond Meat. I don't know if you guys have seen BYND, but it's been absolutely ripping lately. Over kind of insane news. It was over 1,000% from the bottom to the top. It went from a penny stock to like worth a few bucks, like literally a penny. I guess you can still consider a penny stock, but came down pretty good today from the top. So that was interesting. We got ISRG. If you guys didn't see ISRG, this one is absolutely ripping today. Has a massive gap up. And DraftKings, interesting. DraftKings here is trading at the lower end of its channel here. And it had a little gap up today. I guess some bullish options flow. And so what Sidekick can do that the market scanner can't do is it can use all the other data like unusual options activity. And you can see this table right here. It picked the top 3 from the scan of 25 results and ranked them by unusual options activity. So it's very cool in that sense, where you can kind of rank based on the unusual options flow or fundamentals or anything like that. So definitely check out that blog post. SJD news. I think we're going to get a pretty big move. It's just a matter of time when the call comes out, or when the call starts, I should say. Honestly, right now, not a ton is going on because forward guidance is going to matter a lot more than the actual numbers that just came out. So that is my take on that. I'm curious if there's anything else that you guys are seeing moving in the market right now. Let me go ahead and add maybe another watch list and see. We'll put the market movers hype list up here and see what's going on. Beyond down. Netflix was down. Netflix just reported earnings, I believe. Was it yesterday? Yeah, so Netflix is not looking good at all. Let me see, turn off the daily. Yeah, they had a pretty insane gap down for Netflix. So we'll take a look at that more in a second. Riot is down pretty significantly. Looks like it broke out, and it's so far pretty much a false breakout, I would say. Moderna is down. Anything else? QS coming down. It rallied again, coming down. Hood. What else are you guys watching out there? Robinhood has been holding up pretty dang well, not going to lie. Obviously, it's been coming down lately, but overall, pretty good. Palantir, I mean, almost forget about this one because it's been consolidating for so long, but wow, this one is holding up like a champion, honestly. See how AMD is doing. AMD, I'm sure you guys saw this one. Yeah, someone just said that right as I pulled it up. Pretty much at all-time highs. looking amazing on that news that it's pretty much an actual competitor with NVIDIA at this point. Yeah, we're going to have to wait until Tesla earnings call, which is going to be in about an hour. So yeah, we'll probably see what happens with Tesla more going on then. Pull it up again just to make sure we're not missing anything insane, but I don't think we are. Yeah, I mean, it's coming down. It's actually down. This is the 1 minute. Let's see what we're down. Down about 1.5%. So really nothing for Tesla. That's kind of significant, I guess. Option sellers are most definitely at this point still winning. Obviously, you can't close your options right now, though. So you're going to have to wait for the earnings call to see. If you guys are in calls or whatever, you're not, you never know. It could easily change around any second here. Yeah, ISRG was one of those ones caught on that scanner I just went ahead and built. Has been doing insane lately, or mostly today. What else we got up on the day today? So we got Costco up, we got McDonald's up, we got Walmart up. Those are all kind of risk off type of stocks. We are definitely not risk on stocks, I should say. What else do we have? NVIDIA's pretty flat on the day, kind of hanging in there. Bitcoin is kind of at the lower end of its trading range over the last, 5 months, 6 months or so. So we'll see what happens. Should be interesting there. See what energy is doing. Energy's leading the day. Really hasn't gone anywhere for quite a while. I remember seeing XLRE again rotating into on our stock market map earlier. I mean, it's still in this consolidation range. Looks like it wants to eventually break out, but nothing insane there. I don't know. I didn't think about this before, but quantum stocks have been pretty wild lately. Not even that crazy. Just doing regular super volatile stock things. We had a breakout from this level right here. They went up about 52%. And since then, they're down 34% from the peak. So if you bought the peak, you're down 34%. Which isn't that bad. I mean, it's just coming right back down to the breakout level, as you can see here. So we'll probably maybe get some reaction there. We'll see. BMNR, let's take a look. This is the Ethereum sort of ETF. Yeah, not doing a whole lot overall. It looks like it has somewhat of a trend line going. Maybe not really. Looks like it broke that trend line there. Take that with a grain of salt, but it is what it is. Doesn't look very good, though. MicroStrategy, let's take a look at that one. Kind of a big name, has not been doing good. Pretty much been underperforming Bitcoin lately. Coinbase was down pretty good today as well. What else are those other big quantum names? RGTI. This one has been an absolute ripper lately, and it's been coming down back to earth. Had a consolidation here, breakout. Went up like 64% from that breakout. And now, if you bought at the top, you are down 37%. So all these quantum stocks are down nearly 50%. Kind of insane, but not super surprising. OKLO is another big one. Let's take a look at this guy. Yeah, kind of same exact story. Down 38% from the top. So really, take a look at this, guys. This is actually a pretty cool use case that I'm going to use for, actually, I won't even use, no, let's use Sidekick. Find me stock or scan for stocks. No, here, I'm going to show you guys how to do it from the market scanner. So if we open the market scanner here, you type in this human language input box. I just want to see stocks that are having earnings coming up soon. So find stocks that are having earnings over the next, I don't know, what do you guys think? 14 days. I'm going to click run in Sidekick. You can see what happens here. So as you can see, it is, I should have specified a list, but the S&P 500 is fine. So 51 results having earnings in the next 14 days. I mean, super easy now, you guys. All this AI coming into TrendSpider, very, very easy to do this stuff now. It actually looks like it checked the S&P 100, which is fine because it's earnings season. I mean, the S&P 100 is going to be the most, significant stocks in the market. So I don't mind this at all. It's still 51 names. I could have changed it if I wanted, but now I can have it rank these stocks by different things, whether it's seasonality, whether it's relative performance, whether it's really whatever you want. So let's do this. Rank these stocks for me and pick the ones that are showing revenue growth, strong. Let's see. We'll do revenue growth. I'm just going to have AI do a lot of the thinking for me. That look the best fundamentally and technically. So if you just don't even want to think, you guys, let's just see what it does. Say rank these stocks for me and pick the ones that look the best fundamentally and technically. Just going to be as broad as I can because that's honestly kind of what AI is good for in a way, just kind of doing a lot of the thinking for you. You could get super specific. We do have some, if you pull up that blog post we made, some super specific prompts that you guys can use. But, for me, sometimes I just kind of like to see what AI gives me. Sometimes what it does will show you things that you maybe wouldn't have thought of yourself. I see PayPal on this list. Look at PayPal. PayPal's been a pretty crazy one. I don't know if it's ever going to go up, but it does have an interesting pattern right there. You see an anchored VWAP here. I'm going to remove that. Let's anchor this VWAP to the low here. Actually, kind of, yeah, so it's right at the anchored VWAP. Kind of curious to see what the all-time high anchored VWAP is as well. So, wow, look at that. Perfect rejection off that anchored VWAP in December from the all-time high. So these are the two significant levels from the anchored VWAP that you should be watching. Definitely where it's at right now, it's 68 or so. And then right up here at 90, if it breaks up, that could be the next line of resistance. Let's go and see what's going on. So yeah, top 10 stocks with earnings coming up the next 14 days. It's saying Meta. Excellent fundamentals. Let's take a look at Meta. Yeah, I mean, it's setting up pretty well. Look at the daily here. A little bit of a dip as well. Just tested its July lows, bouncing up pretty nice. That looks pretty good. Love me some Visa and mostly Visa, but MA is good as well. MasterCard. Very consistent stock, setting up nicely. Got earnings up in the next 14 days. All found by Sidekick for us. Got Apple. Apple will be a fun one. When did they have earnings? They got them on October 30th post market. And by the way, definitely hit the subscribe button, you guys, because we're going to be going live for a ton of earnings in the near future. Definitely do not want to miss them as they come out because it is going to be a pretty crazy earnings season. So hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you know exactly when we're going live and you can hop on and watch these earnings in real time with us. And else we got here? LOI, Google, QCOM, Microsoft. So it's mostly just these top stocks. Obviously, it's the S&P 100. Amazon is interesting. I mean, stocks are just still doing really well. Obviously, if we pull up SPY, they've had this dip and we've been consolidating in this kind of range here. But stocks are basically still at all-time highs, you guys. Basically still at all-time highs. So it's looking pretty good out there. But someone said SKLZ. Yeah, I mean, this was a Kathy Wood stock back in the day. Pretty good mover on the day. Lots of volume. Honorable mention. So it's saying avoid Intel, which is interesting. Intel broke up out of its base, been consolidating pretty much ever since. Saying avoid Intel, Boeing, Dow, and PayPal. That's hilarious. Massive negative free cash flow on PayPal. It says Boeing. I haven't looked at Boeing in a while. Hasn't really gone anywhere in years, to be honest. Ever since the COVID crash, I mean, yeah, it has really not gone anywhere. Let's take a look at silver and gold. Yep. Conference call. He's still got about an hour. Look at gold or silver. Absolutely insane moves here on the metals. on the daily chart. Just yesterday, we had a massive gap down on silver. And then the day before that, or same day, massive gap down on gold as well. Let's see how much that ripped from. Let's open the monthly chart here on GLD. Let's remove that. We had about 100% move up since the breakout level, give or take. So decent play there. I think I was playing CDE. This one had a nasty gap down. I got stopped out on that gap down. Was a good time. Well, not really, but still was a decent trade, which is a minor stock. Let's go take a look back at Tesla here. Yeah, Tesla's not really moving a whole lot still, you guys. So we got to wait for that call. Still not sure. We got to still have a whole hour until that call. So honestly, I don't know if I'll even wait until that call. I might call it quits before then because that's a long time from now, guys. Do you guys have any questions about the platform or anything else you guys want to see? Did show you guys what has earnings coming up with Sidekick right here. Had Sidekick also rank them and show you ones that look the best. LOY. Let's take a look at healthcare stocks. Been doing pretty good lately. LOY's up there. UNH is obviously not really the talk of the town anymore, but was still doing pretty good. I mean, if you bought the dip, at least if you started buying the dip around here, even good. But if you started buying there, it's not the greatest. Turn off after hours there so you can see the gaps there. Yeah. Let's take a look at the anchored VWAP here. Broke above that anchored VWAP, rejected it there, consolidated it here, and broke above. And ever since that, it's really been in an uptrend. I guess, yeah, I'd say it's a solid little uptrend there. On the daily, take a look at MU here. MU's been doing really good. If you guys didn't check it out, I think the most recent video I posted on the TrendSpider YouTube channel goes over MU using the Minervini trend template candles. Look at this, you guys. This one showed up on our trend template scan and VCP breakout scan when it broke out of its base right here and flipped to, if you guys don't know what the Minervini trend template is, I'll put on the table for you guys. This is a custom indicator that you guys can use on TrendSpider that we built for you. But basically, Mark Minervini is a well-known trader, and he won 2 U.S. investing championships, one in 2021, one like in the 90s, I think. And his trend template criteria is exactly this on the screen right here. Jirachi. Sounds good. I thought you were talking about something else. But basically, when MU flipped to all of these being positive with the relative performance over 70, price over all these moving averages crossing over each other, turns the candles cyan, which is really cool. It helps you see exactly when the trend is looking in your favor here. Yes, the volatility contraction pattern is exactly right. And it broke out, and it's been a pretty good breakout ever since. So I'll go ahead and leave a link for this indicator in the chat below if you guys want to check it out. There you go. Thank you, Matt. I'm glad somebody is finding this helpful. Glad to help you here, have you here. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so you can come back to watch him in the future. So let's take a look at Tesla with these Minervini trend template candles now. As you can see, the candles are not cyan yet. The only thing that it's missing here, look at this. It's actually about to flip cyan. Once this line, once the 150 crosses over the 200 SMA. Once this line crosses over that line, basically the trend is going to be very strong, is essentially what it's saying for this trend template. And the last time we had these cyan candles, Tesla did have this very, very nice rally here in October 30th, 2024. And when it broke and the candles went away from cyan, it dumped. So it is a pretty solid way to, determine what the overall trend of a stock is. It's kind of like a trend strength candles indicator, similar to it. But yeah, it's really cool, you guys, honestly. And it comes with a scanner as well. We can actually take a look at the scanner too while we're here. Open up the market scanner. We got, let's see, Minervini base breakout scanner. This one's pretty cool. It's going to show us stocks breaking out of bases. Oh, sorry. I want to keep this on, but I want to hide the table. And you can just hide the table like that in the indicator settings. So these are stocks that have recently broken out and are meeting all the cyan colored candle criteria. You got LITV. This is pretty interesting. NAT just flips right there. And you can see all these lines starting to curl up. A good sign. VHC. Actually been cyan for quite a while there. HCA. Looks like it's starting to push to all-time highs from a base breakout. And MSB. So again, everything in the market hasn't been a ton of breakouts in the market lately. So not a ton in here. We can flip this to the NASDAQ, see if there's anything in there as well. Just to find some cool runner stocks while we're here. Someone said CHTR in the chat. Let's take a look at that. Ooh, that one is absolutely dying. I don't know. Charter Communications. Yeah, that one pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. Oh, nothing in the NASDAQ with the VCP breakout lately. All right. But anyways, guys, I don't know. That might do it. Let's see. Oh, Monkey Man, I didn't see this one. You said earlier that money is rotating into health and real estate. Can you filter your list with just those? Do you mean the stocks in that index? I think that's what you mean. If I pull up where the stock or the money is wrote into in our list here, we got XLV and XLRE, like I was saying. No, I do not run the Twitter, Abdullah. I do not. Just do the YouTube and the blogs and other stuff. What was I doing? So I'm going to customize this bubble chart with, I guess, XLV. You can filter for XLV holdings here. Wow, ISRG is leading, obviously, over the last 7 days in XLV. Doesn't surprise me a single bit. CRL is another big leader over the last 7 days. And HOLX, I've actually heard of this one. Look at HOLX go. Let's see. Ooh, Reddit. I haven't seen that in a while. But yeah, I remember this HLX stock. It's doing pretty good lately. It's TMO. This one actually popped up on some scanner I was looking at the other day as well. Thermo Fisher is one of the leading stocks in the healthcare sector. And I can color flag these for you guys if you want to see the tickers here. When you color tag them, it will show the ticker on the map. What's doing terrible? We got MOH over there. Yeah, we got BSX, MTD, HUM, IQV, Tech. IQV sounds somewhat familiar. But yeah, healthcare definitely getting rotated into. I think I saw IQV and TMO on some breakout scanners not too long ago. As you can see, it's clearly breaking out. Kind of like a cup and handle forming here on IQV. It's pretty cool to see. If you guys want to draw, you can draw on TrendSpider with these polylines, kind of something like, oh no, that's the wrong one. Hold on. I want this one, draw a curve. You just click 3 points there. Close enough, I guess. And then we'll draw the cup, or the handle, I should say. We'll couple the handle breakout. On this healthcare stock, which is IQV. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on the healthcare sector, you guys. definitely keep an eye on the healthcare sector. And the things leading it is TMO, HOLX, CRL, ISRG. One thing that's not leading is UNH. I don't know where UNH is in here. Let me search for UNH. There it is. So yeah, UNH is not doing very good over the last 7 days. It's not where the money's going into at the moment. So maybe these are some sleepers. I don't know. But if we also go into XLRE, the list for XLRE, which is real estate, let's take a look at what's going on in this. It's got PLD, CBRE, Well, Kim. Is this Kimco? Don't really follow real estate stocks a whole lot, like REITs. AMT, I know. Is there any real estate? Oh yeah, sorry. Oh, Realty is probably one that most people know. It's probably the most well-known REIT. It's been doing pretty good. I mean, sort of. It's just doing what REITs do. Ooh, they have weird earnings, EPS expected up there, but revenue has been pretty solid on for pretty much forever, at least for the last 3 years. DLR, PSA, CBRE, Kim. Yeah, PLD definitely leading over the last week. This is where the money is going into in the real estate sector. So if you guys, again, are new to TrendSpider, this is the stock market map. You can use it just by clicking stock market map right there at the bottom. Yeah, O is great. O is great. I've heard good things about AMT as well. Trading pretty low on its range there. So I guess if you like this REITs, now would probably not be the worst time to get in there for that dividend. Definitely. Oh, public storage. Interesting. Public storage looks pretty good, honestly. How many funds are adding to a ticker in TrendSpider? Let me take a look. I believe you can get these 13F trades. So there's a specific stocks you want me to check on. But what you can see here is these 13F institutional trades. You see which fund is buying or selling for specific stocks. If this is what you mean, I'm not 100% sure. But if you have a specific stock you want me to check, I can filter it by that symbol or by a date, whatever you're thinking. But it looks like we got some buys, and this is all today, actually. There's a lot of trades just for today. It's like someone is using Sidekick on our team account. It's kind of funny. Wow, lots of trades today. And you can filter these. I think there's a 13F one here over X amount. Maybe not. But you can apply filters to this. Don't need a date one, I don't think. We could do dollar amount. Let's just do is greater than, I don't know, what is the normal dollar amount we're seeing here? It's like 1 million, 3 million. Let's put at least 1 million for now and see what we get. 1,0,0,0,0. I think that was it. Yeah, this is 1 million. So this is all 13F trades over $1 million. Let's see what we got here. Someone said SPG. I don't know if you're talking about here, but we can filter and see if there's any SPG trades in 13F. Was some. There's a $3.9 million buy, it looks like. Yeah, it looks pretty good on the chart. Not sure. Oh, Simon Property Group, I see. Let's go back to the stock market map right here. What was that one? Public storage is the one I was looking at. This is probably over the last 30 days. This one's been doing really well. Looks like it's setting up pretty nicely here on the weekly. Yeah, SPG is I saw that. Yeah, no worries, Dividend Town. Hope that was helpful. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions about the platform you want to see, definitely let me know. Public storage is an interesting one, though. If you draw this horizontal line here, previous resistance is now acting as pretty much support. We had a break below it there in 2023, brought some good buying opportunities. But revenue has been very steady. EPS is debatably steady, but it looks like it wants to break out of this other level right there. We put on the trend template candles. Let's take a look. Yeah, still not trending. This is probably not one that you really trade the trend with anyway, so probably not even useful to have that. Yeah, let's take a look at Tesla. Why don't we? Almost like they're having earnings right now. Yeah, they're not doing anything still, you guys. It's got about 30 minutes more. SMCI, it's a good one I haven't looked at. Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot going on. It's been just rejecting this downtrend right here, I guess. I guess the revenue looks pretty good. EPS looks terrible, actually. So yeah, looks all right. IBM had good earnings, you say. Yeah, IBM's been doing really good. I think Dell has been doing pretty good as well, which is interesting. Those are kinds of cool ones to watch out for. But yeah, the way I found the stuff, you guys, again, if you go into my sector ETF list, or no, it's not mine. Hold on. Sector ETFs, Mike. It's my list. And what I did is I sorted this by 7-day change and 30-day change. And this is how I find where the money's flowing in. So towards the right side over here, we see XLV again in real estate, all the way to the right, which means over the last 7 days, that's where the money's going. And stuff all the way at the top is where money's going over the last 30 days. And this is live updating constantly. So over the last 30 days, commodities like gold and silver are still in the lead. Utilities is up there, and so is SMH, semiconductors. But if we're looking for more recent, over 7 days, bonds. I haven't even looked at TLT yet. Yeah, TLT is looking pretty interesting now, you guys. See you later, Dean. See you next time. Yeah, if you guys are still out there, definitely hit that subscribe button. Thank you for sticking around. What was I saying? TLT. TLT is treasuries, long-term treasuries, 20 years to be specific. It looks like it's finally starting to break out a little bit here. Had this massive kind of downtrend line starting a while. Breakout, base up, and then another breakout there. So yeah, we'll see if it turns into a flight to safety or not. It's pretty much trading the lowest the TLT ETF itself has pretty much ever traded. I saw this point of control listed there. I kind of want to pull up volume profile, volume by price. And we're going to do this by visible range. I'm going to make this like, I think 75 I like. So yeah, definitely volume point of control on TLT right around where we're trading right now. So that's going to be the area to break above for sure, of course. We'll see if it happens. And if it does, we got this low volume area all the way up to 121. So realistically, and again, found this in the stock market map, TLT is starting to get some movement over the last 7 days. And if we use the position tool, you can gauge sort of a risk to reward here on the trade. If you think we're going to get back up to this point of control or high volume node, let me drag this all the way over here so it's a little bit easier to see. So it's about where you set your stop. I guess your risk, you can be considered somewhere down here. Just leave it right there. So yeah, but about a 2.3 risk to reward if you went ahead and bought here. That's if you stopped out at the under 80 at 79.50. That's 13% to make 32% if we get back up to this level, the next high volume node. And that is the position tool that you can use right over here on the left-hand side. So, yeah. Interesting stuff on TLT. Tesla, I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about Tesla. I had a pretty bad day today, as you can see. Someone said it's creeping lower. SJD News. It indeed is creeping lower. Something else you guys can look at that can be helpful is relative performance. This is set to quarterly instead of yearly, so it's a little bit more reactive. But it's all the way up at 97. So it's Tesla is currently over the last quarter over quarter, outperforming 97% of the market, practically the entire market. If you put it that way. Let's go to the annual. Yeah, outperforming everything annually as well. So obviously Tesla has been doing very, very good lately. During this consolidation period, definitely declined. So, but once it broke out, this relative performance really just shot up. So you got a little bit of a green candle move up there on Tesla. Let's see. Got a little news article here. It says Tesla achieved highest quarterly energy storage deployments and another record quarter of Powerwall deployments. Gross profit increased sequentially and year over year to a record of 1.1 billion. So that's good news outside of their cars. Tesla expects a lithium refinery in Texas to begin production in Q4, pretty much now, 2025, and production in Nevada LFP lines in 2026, the start of 2026. What else we got? Tesla says Cybercab, Tesla Semi, and Megapack 3 are on schedule for volume production starting in 2026. First generation production lines for Optimus are being installed in anticipation of volume production. Interesting. Yeah, record deliveries, fallen profits. That's exactly what happened. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff there on Tesla. What are you referring to there, Dividend Town? The bubble chart, if you have TrendSpider, it is definitely free to use. If you have a TrendSpider account, everything is included that you're seeing here. Sidekick does have a limit to messages for if you don't pay extra for it, but you still get at least 25. Yeah, other than that, even like the real-time data in TrendSpider is included in our actual pricing. Roadster was sick. Definitely was. But yeah, if you guys keep these questions coming about the platform, I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have. One of our more recent updates that we've been releasing is being able to build scans using just, regular text, even voice. So if you guys have anything you want me to scan for, like, for example, I can just click this right here. Let's see if it works. I'm using my mic for this app, but find me stocks with earnings over the next 7 days. Oops. Find me stocks with earnings over the next 7 days. See, I just literally spoke that into my mic. I didn't have to type anything, and it's going to find me stocks with earnings over the next 7 days as exactly what I wanted. I actually searched in the list there, but if you just search this through NASDAQ 100, you can see all the NASDAQ 100 stocks with earnings over the next 7 days. Can you see if you could scan for stocks that broke PMH? What is PMH? Or maybe I'm just blind and can't. Let me show this on the screen. Pre-market high? Question mark? Okay, I guessed right. Nice. That's a good one. Let me ask AI. Find stocks. Let me just start this. That broke through pre-market. Hold on. Find stocks that are trading near pre-market's high. This one might require a custom indicator, not gonna lie. So it checked extended hours. Let's take a look here. Let me close this out. Go to the 1 minute. So theoretically, we want to scan for pre-market highs. So we need a time. Let me check something on our store. I think someone made an indicator that does this. I think it was the fringe indicator. So if you use our fringe indicator, let me skip to the point, click editor here. Add a group. Indicator. Let's just do like, I don't know, 15-minute fringe. High on, so you can, what are we looking for? So pre-market would be Wednesday here. Honestly, this one require me to do some vibe coding, but I know there is a way to definitely do it. I would just need to have to code an indicator that sets proper timing for the pre-market high. Which would be interesting because you'd have to set a time parameter to note when the pre-market high is. Fringe high. Yeah, this one I would need some time for. If you are a TrendSpider user, you can use this contact us button down here. Hit up our support. They might be able to help you do it, but I would probably start doing this in the custom indicator editor. You'd have to do something like create me an indicator that plots a continuous line of the pre-market high. I don't know if this is going to work just on a simple prompt like this, but maybe it will. This one would definitely require me to do some prompts kind of engineering here. You could use, oh, James is out there. You could use previous session range and turn on it. Oh, all right, James. Let's see. See, James is our what is it, COO? He's basically a beast when it comes to knowing the platform. So I have pre-market on. A DMW indicator that store that resume. So yeah, it looks like you could use this previous session range. Go up to the scanner here, add a condition or price. 15-minute close, the current price. What do you want to see? Scan for stocks that broke above PMH and then retested it. Your definition of that, I would have to kind of confirm. But if you just wanted to scan for breaking it, you can do, I guess, let me do this. Start with the indicator, 15-minute, previous session high. Price has broke through it. So this would be how you do price broke through the previous session's high. And then you just have to add another condition probably where I guess it's, I don't know if you want it to be below it currently or above it. You say retested it. But yeah, you would be able to do it like this. Let's see, MRK. And it's kind of weird because the market is closed at this point. But yeah, that's a kind of a tricky one, but definitely with this indicator is the way to do it. I would just have to wrap my mind around it for a second, but definitely this is one of the conditions I believe to do so. And then you just have to define what it means to retest. And someone's talking about Palantir. Ooh, let's take off this previous session range. Palantir has just been consolidating, you guys. Princeton, are you a TrendSpider user? Oh, you do have Trend. Okay, you do. Nice, nice, nice. Awesome. Yeah. Definitely that previous session range. Nice, James. Nice, nice, nice. See, this is why TrendSpider is awesome, because customer support here is crazy good. Got James out there is building scans on the fly. I love to see it. Let's take a look at this, though. I mean, there's a clear consolidation range on Palantir right here. And if we put on something like, I don't know, like the squeeze indicator. Yeah, it's been squeezing, starting to see these red dots is indicating a squeeze, kind of obvious here. So the way I see it is that you're going to see a break out of this range pretty significantly to one direction or the other. I'm not going to sit here and predict which way that's going to go. Squeeze indicators looks like it's pointing more so down at the moment. So I'd be cautious. I mean, I probably wouldn't be buying Palantir personally, but that is just me. Now I'm curious. Build a scanner that finds stocks that broke. Oh, it doesn't work on custom indicators, I don't think. Never mind. James already has a scan for that. Anywho. Yeah, James is messaging me right now about this. That's funny. DMV levels to TrendSpider team. DMV levels. Let me take a look at this indicator. DMV. Guess it's on. Have to take a look on the store. Let me open that. This is the indicator we're talking about. This indicator plots the pre-market high, low, prior daily. Oh, look at that. Subscribe to this. What was it called? Why isn't it? Maybe it has a. Oh, DMW. That's why it's not popping up. That's interesting. So it literally marks pre-high. Let's see. So pre-high, it says 181. Nice. Yeah, this is the indicator you need right here. This is really cool, actually. Pre-market high. Pre-market low. It does seem accurate. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool indicator. It looks nice, too. And it just depends on your definition of retesting it. DMW indicator. I'll drop a link for you in the chat. Right here. There we go. So there's the pre-market levels indicator for you guys if you need it. Thank you for the assist there, James. Love it, love it. Yeah, but we've been live for quite a while now, you guys. Let's take one more look at Tesla here. Actually kind of curious to see how the pre-market levels look. So yeah, it's trading significantly below those pre-market levels now. Any indicator to see percent of daily volume is sell or buy? Ready to moon on earnings call? Yeah, I would love to see Tesla moon and stocks go up. Percent of daily volume is sell or buy. James, I might need another assist. We probably do. Not one that comes to my mind. Percentage-wise of daily volume is sell or buy. I know if you use per session volume by price, yeah, I guess that one doesn't really show the, let me see this, per session volume by price. Value top. Yeah, no, I won't do it. Doesn't the volume slider have something like that with the red and green colors? Maybe it does. Rising and falling, yeah, but you'd have to kind of do the math, I guess. Like you see for each for each candle, if it's green or red. But I think he's asking like what percentage of them are green or red, essentially. That indicator is not for trading view, no. We use JavaScript here at TrendSpider, not a Pine script. Market is seeming like it topped out, says Ant. Yeah, I don't know. Market, honestly, it's just not going up every day anymore. I mean, it's still nearly at all-time highs. What else? Let me find something. See Gary on the chat. Gary, this we got to get you back on one of these lives here pretty soon. What was I gonna do? Find stocks that report earnings today. I don't know if you've used this. If you're out there, Gary, this new market scanning feature, but it makes finding exactly what we want super easy. Earning X date is today. Now let's search this in the S&P 500. All these stocks had earnings today. Let's take a look. AVY, BSX, APH. I think I'm in that one. CME Group. Yes, CME had earnings pre-market today. TMO had earnings. Oh, GEV had earnings. Take a look at this. I think my internet is kind of glitching out at the moment. Yeah, I think TMO had earnings 22nd. Yeah, this morning. Looks like they're up a little bit, nothing crazy. But GEV had earnings this morning as well. Let's take a look at the GEV chart. This has been a pretty good one to trade. Looks like you didn't really like him a whole lot. Yeah, this one is looking a little bit top heavy for sure. Looks like it kind of broke all the way down to the support level down over here. See if that holds. Doesn't look too incredible. Looks like their earnings beat though. Oh, EPS was a miss surprise, but good year over year revenue beat. So overall, I think it looked decent. James is saying net volume. Actually, accidentally added that indicator earlier this morning. Yeah, so this shows how much net volume there was. So obviously here it says negative 4 million. That means there's 4 million more shares sold than bought. I guess you could just divide that by total volume and get something like the percentage. Because total volume is where's my volume? 875K. Oh, it says 4 million too. So to the downside minus 4 million. Not sure what that means then actually. LUV had earnings. Looks okay. Yeah, really not a whole lot of big earnings moves. It looks like MCO Moody's, that one's interesting. Pretty big move to the downside, but nothing like significantly. LVS, pretty good move to the upside, at least there. This KMI Kinder Morgan. This is, yeah, not really a whole lot of movement. And of course, Tesla, what we're all waiting for right now. We got 15 minutes to the earnings call. Let me see if I can actually stream it at least for you guys. Since I'm still here live anyway, might as well just, go ahead and try to get the call for you guys going. I think I'll be able to get it. It starts in 13 minutes, so we'll just hang tight until then. Is anyone out there on Kalshi betting on what Elon's going to say or whatever? Let me see if there's any betting markets. Yeah, what will Tesla say during their next earnings call? Gigafactory competition supercharger. Let me see if this works in our Kalshi indicator. No, this should be fun for you guys. What will Tesla say during their next earnings call? Full self-driving, energy, Optimus, and robotaxi are like guaranteed. That is interesting. Other things, supercharger shut down. Interesting. Gigafactory. Yeah, they got a ton of things you could bet on. Doge is on there. But yeah, if they don't say any of these, you should see a pretty wild movement on this betting market. What else is that for Tesla? Tesla deliveries this quarter we already got, so I guess that's for next quarter. Or I guess, yeah, quarter 4 now. This one might be kind of fun to watch. Let's take a look at this. I'm using the Kalshi indicator right now, guys. Kalshi Custom. Just looking at Kalshi and seeing. Let's see how this affects stock price. So 430,000, or what's the highest one here? 490,000 or more is the bull case. So if you see that one going up, you're probably going to see the stock moving up. But it looks like they're all heading. It's like the highest projected is 430,000 or more, which is of course the lowest. Yeah, that one's okay. When will Tesla launch unsupervised FSD? See what this one looks like. Before 2026 or before November. So, wow, that's interesting. So I guess there's a 14% chance that Tesla will release unsupervised FSD before 2026. So basically within the next 2 months before November. I mean, this one actually I'm going to keep up probably because let's see. Or what do you guys? I don't know if you guys have any bets on the other one. Maybe I can put both up. What will they say during next earnings call? Put this back on the 1 minute. Add another one. And I'm going to remove this for now. Perfect. So now we got, when will Tesla launch unsupervised full self-driving, and what will Tesla say during their next earnings call? We're getting some movement here, actually, a little bit on this. This one's whatever. I'm going to hide that one for now. This one's probably going to be actually kind of interesting to watch during the call. If you see one of these spike up, that means pretty much, I mean, if you see before November spike up, that means obviously they announced full self-driving. Essentially, that's in the next week. Whoops, I accidentally just opened cursor. Let me close that. But now, earnings call starts in 9 minutes, you guys. I'm going to try to get it live for you guys. I didn't sign up yet. I don't know if you have to, but we'll see. Should be able to get it. Usually anyone can just sign up, but it's kind of a pain sometimes. So I'll sign up for you guys so you guys can listen in if you guys are still out there. All right. Yeah, I'll take a look at Reddit and AMD. In the meantime, Reddit, we got, take a look at the weekly here. Yeah, I mean, Reddit is just pretty much whoever got on this breakout is getting, not having a fun time at this point. It's really just consolidating right here at this level, I would say. From this level here, this breakout kind of level. I guess you could probably say that's a fair value gap, as they call it, I believe, right here. So maybe that'll get filled. Saying like this is essentially the fair value gap. So yeah, maybe I'll see a pullback down to there. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, it doesn't look super bullish to me. It is consolidating, but it looks like you got these wicks up here. It's kind of failing to break to either side right now, honestly. And it has this level to come down to. So I figure I'll probably get sucked down there, in my opinion. See you later, Monkey Man. Yeah, I wouldn't even expect myself to stay all the way up until this call, but I guess it's happening. Because of why not? If you guys are still out there, definitely hit that subscribe button. Hit the like so you guys can check out future lives. Going to be going live quite a bit over the next month or so for all these earnings coming up. And well, we got FOMC, I think next week already. Yeah, October 28th. So that'll be fun. We'll see if they lower rates, as they probably will. Yeah, it's like the odds just dropped a little bit right there on that candle for whatever reason. Who knows? Prediction markets are very quick at spotting things, though, so that's why I have this pulled up here, because this is actually probably going to be a pretty big thing. It's only a 2% chance that it's happening for November, but I'm really probably watching before 2026, because that means it'll happen during Q4, which will be pretty big for their guidance, obviously. Like if they announce unsupervised full self-driving, which is a very small chance, 14%, could be pretty big. Maybe not for Q4. This could happen. This is saying it's happening during Q4 before 2026, essentially. So maybe it'll start affecting them in Q1, which will be good. Which will be really good forward guidance. Will that happen? Probably not. Knowing Tesla. But maybe it will. Take a look at this earnings call. You got 5 minutes until the call. If I was stuck around this far, might as well stick around for the earnings call. I'm probably just going to put it on and just peace out, just listen in the background. For you guys. So you guys don't have to sign up for the earnings call yourself. But I've been live. God, I've only been live for nearly 2 hours, I think. Time flies. Time flies. Let's see. 4 minutes until the call. This will be fun. I'll put up the thing right there so you guys can see the countdown. Tesla chart. Not doing much. But we'll probably get some movement here as the earnings call moves along. And whoa. All right, hold on here. I think we're actually getting some movement. Let me open this on YouTube. In my paid account, so there's no ads. Boom. You guys hear that? Is that like super loud for y'all? Mute it for a second. Let me know if you guys are out there in the chat, if you guys can hear that. Okay, if it's annoying. Hell yeah. I don't know if I can adjust the volume on this, so you might gonna have to turn down your volume. Plus, when the live starts, you're probably gonna want it high. I'll mute it for now. You know, I always forget to play the music that we have in the background too. It keeps turning back on. But yeah, I got about 3 minutes. Yep, we're getting the call. We're getting the call. I just can't turn this thing off, so you guys are gonna have to deal with that music. It'll turn off in a second. Yep, you guys are out there. As you can hear, we're going to be streaming the call in just a few minutes. I'm probably going to hop off because I've been on here for nearly 2 hours. But yeah, we'll have the call on. Just chilling. We'll have our Kalshi market up right here. When will Tesla launch unsupervised full self-driving, whether it's before? Watch these markets right here for sure. It should be telling if you're betting on that, or if they announce it, it'll be fun to see. All right, call should be starting any second now. If you guys are just joining in, make sure to hit the subscribe button and likes so you can stay on top of our future lives. We're going to be going live a ton for earnings, Q3 earnings that are a bunch coming up here in the pretty near future. So hit that notification bell so you never miss when a big earnings call happens. We'll be streaming them for you guys, at least all the big ones. Call should be starting any minute now. They're about 2 minutes late already. Any cool other indicators I can put on the chart? Let me see if I can't. This call will start one day. Maybe I'll just see some movement here for once. Tesla's currently down 1.5% since the close. And they are now 4 minutes late. Elon doom scrolling on X, yeah. Looks like some people just joined in. If you're out there, welcome to the Tesla earnings call. They are 4 minutes late, 5 minutes late now, but Make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any future big earnings announcements or calls. So we're going to be going live for a lot of them here in the next month or so. I'd love to see all of y'all there. And if you need a better trading platform
Good
or a
afternoon,
trading
everyone,
platform,
and
it's
welcome to
starting.
Tesla's third quarter 2025 Q&A webcast. My name is Travis Axelrod, Head of Investor Relations, and I'm joined today by Elon Musk, Vaibhav Taneja, and a number of other executives. Our Q3 results were announced at about 3 p.m. Central Time in the update deck we published at the same link as this webcast. During this call, we will discuss our business outlook and make forward-looking statements. These comments are based on our predictions and expectations as of today. Actual events or results could differ materially due to a number of risks and uncertainties, including those mentioned in our most recent filings with the SEC. We urge shareholders to read our definitive proxy statement, which contains important information about the matters to be voted on at the 2025 annual meeting. During the question and answer portion of today's call, please limit yourself to one question and one follow-up. Please use the raise hand button to join the question queue. Before we jump into Q&A, Elon has some opening remarks. Elon?
Thank you. We're at a critical inflection point for Tesla and our strategy going forward as we bring AI into the real world. I think it's important to emphasize that Tesla really is the leader in real world AI. No one can do what we can do with real world AI. I have pretty good insight into AI in general. I think that Tesla has the highest intelligence density of any AI out there in the car, and that is only going to get better. And we're really just at the beginning of scaling at a quite massively full self-driving and robotaxi, and fundamentally changing the nature of transport. I think people just don't quite appreciate the degree to which this will take off. Where it's honestly it's going to be like a shockwave. So it's because the cars are all out there. We have millions of cars out there that, with a software update, become full self-driving cars, and we're making a couple million a year. And in fact, with the advent of with what we see now as a clarity on achieving full self-driving, unsupervised full self-driving, I should say, I feel confident in expanding Tesla's production. So that is our intent, to expand as quickly as we can our future production. So I was reticent to do that until we had clarity on achieving unsupervised full self-driving. But at this point, I feel like we've got clarity, and it makes sense to expand production as fast as we reasonably can. We're also making huge impact on the energy sector with battery storage. So with both the Powerwall and especially with the Megapack, we are dramatically improving the ability to generate more energy from the grid. So let me sort of talk a little bit about that, which is, if you look at total U.S. energy capability, for example, there's roughly a terawatt of continuous power available in the U.S., but the average usage over a 24-hour cycle is only half a terawatt because of the big difference between day and night usage. If you buffer the energy with batteries, you can effectively double the energy output of the United States just with batteries, building no incremental power plants. And it's very difficult to build power plants. So they take a long time. There's a lot of permitting, and it's not an industry that's used to moving fast. So we see the potential there for Tesla battery packs to greatly improve the energy output per year for any given grid, US or otherwise. We're also on the cusp of something really tremendous with Optimus, which I think is likely to be, or has potential to be the biggest product of all time. And it's a difficult project, and it's worth noting that it's not like it's just automatic. I'm unaware of any robot program by Ford or GM or any of our U.S. sort of car companies. People I think maybe think of Tesla as a car company. We mostly make cars and battery packs, but so it's not like it's not just like an obvious fall off a log thing to make Optimus, but we do have the ingredients of real world AI and exceptional electrical and mechanical engineering capabilities and the ability to scale production, which I don't think anyone else has all of those ingredients. So yeah, with version 14 of the of self-driving, which you can see the reactions of people online. They're quite amazed. Actually, anyone in the US can get version 14 if they just go and select I want the advanced software in their car. So if you're listening right now and you'd like to try it out, just go in settings and say I want the advanced software, and you will get version 14. And yeah, so on the Megapack front, we unveiled Megablock, Megapack 3. We also have exciting plans for Megapack 4. Megapack 4 will incorporate a lot of the a lot of what is normally in a substation and be able to output at probably 35 kilovolts directly. So this greatly improves our ability to deploy Megapack because it's not dependent on building a substation up through 35 kV for Megapack 4. So that'll be that's the engineering priority for Megapack, and we look forward to unveiling Optimus V3. Probably in Q1. I think it'll be ready for to show off, and that I think is going to be quite remarkable. It won't even seem like a robot. It'll seem like a person in a robot suit, which is kind of how we started off with Optimus. But it'll seem so real that you'll need to poke it, I think, to believe that it's actually a robot. And obviously, the real world intelligence we've developed for the car, most of that transfers to Optimus. So it's a very good starting point. In conclusion, we're excited about the updated mission of Tesla, which is sustainable abundance. So going beyond sustainable energy to say sustainable abundance is the mission, where we believe with Optimus and self-driving that you can actually create a world where there is no poverty, where everyone has access to the finest medical care. Optimus will be an incredible surgeon, for example. And imagine if everyone had access to an incredible surgeon. So I think there's, of course, we make sure Optimus is safe and everything, but I do think we're headed for a world of sustainable abundance, and that I'm excited to work with the Tesla team to make that happen.
Great. Thank you very much, Elon. Vaibhav also has some opening remarks.
Thanks, Travis. Q3 was a special quarter at multiple levels. We set new records not just for deliveries and deployments, but also around a range of financial metrics from total revenues, energy gross profit, energy margins to free cash flow. This was the result of continued confidence of our customers in our products and the relentless efforts by the Tesla team. The strength in deliveries was attributed to strong performance across all regions. Greater China and APAC were up sequentially 33 and 29% respectively. North America was up 28%, while EMEA was up 25%. The pace in deliveries was the function of continued excitement around the new Model Y. We had previously talked about 2025 being the year of the Y and have since delivered on that promise with the new Model Y released in Q1, followed by Model Y long wheelbase and performance, and more recently, Standard Y in North America and EMEA. We're now operating a robotaxi in two markets, Austin and most Bay Area cities. We've already expanded our coverage area in Austin 3 times since the initial launch and are on pace to continue expanding further. Unlike our competitors, our robotaxi fleet blends in the markets we operate in since they don't have extra sensor sets or peripherals which make them stick out. This is an underappreciated aspect of our current vehicle offerings, which are all designed for autonomous driving. We feel that as people experience the supervised FSD at scale, the demand for our vehicles, like Elon said, would increase significantly. On the FSD adoption front, we've continued to see decent progress. However, note that total paid FSD customer base is still small, around 12% of our current fleet. We're working with regulators in places like China and EMEA to obtain approvals so that we can get FSD in those regions as well. Now, covering a little bit on the financial side, automotive revenues increased 29% sequentially, in line with the growth in deliveries. While regulatory credits declined sequentially, we entered into new contracts and continued delivery on previously entered contracts. Our automotive margins, excluding credits, increased marginally from 15% to 15.4%, which was attributed to improvements in material cost and better fixed cost absorption due to higher volumes. The energy storage business continued to deliver with record deployments, gross profit, and margins. As discussed before, this business has a bigger impact from tariffs as measured by percentage of COGS, since currently all cells procured are from China, while we're still working on other alternatives. However, as the ramp of Mega Factory Shanghai is happening, this is helping us avoid tariffs because we are using this factory to supply the non-US demand. Like Elon said, grid scale storage, the only way we can get to electricity fastest is by using storage. The other thing to keep in mind is we are seeing headwinds in this business given the increase in competition and tariffs. The total tariff impacts for Q3 for both businesses was in excess of $400 million, generally split evenly between them. Services and other demonstrated a marked improvement sequentially. This was a function of improvements primarily in our insurance and service center businesses. Note that while small, our robotaxi costs are included within services and other, along with our other businesses like paid supercharging, used car, parts and merchandise sales, etc. Our operating expenses increased sequentially. The largest increase included in restructuring and other related to certain actions undertaken to reduce cost and improve efficiency through convergence of our AI chip design efforts. Additionally, we incurred legal expenses related to proceedings in certain legal cases, as well as incremental costs incurred in preparation for our shareholder meeting. Such costs are recorded within SG&A. Further, our employee-related spend is increasing, especially in R&D, as we have recently granted various performance-based equity awards to employees working on AI initiatives, and therefore such spend will continue to increase going forward. On other income, our other income decreased sequentially, primarily from mark-to-market adjustments on BTC holdings, which was a much smaller gain of $80 million in Q3 versus $284 million in Q2, with the rest of the movement attributable to FX movements in the quarter. Our free cash flow for the quarter was approximately $4 billion, which was yet another record. Our total cash and investments at the end of the quarter were over $41 billion. On the CapEx front, while we are expecting to be around $9 billion for the current year, we're projecting the numbers to increase substantially in 2026 as we prepare the company for the next phase of growth in terms of not just our existing businesses, but our bets around AI initiatives, including Optimus. In conclusion, note that bringing AI into real world is hard, but we have never shied away from doing what is hard. We are extremely excited about the future and are laying down the foundation, the benefits of which will be realized over years to come. I would like to end by thanking the Tesla team, our customers, our investors, and supporters for the continued belief in us.
Thank you very much, Vaibhav. Now let's go to investor questions. From say.com, the first question is, what are the latest robotaxi metrics, fleet size, cumulative miles, rides completed, intervention rates, and when will safety drivers be removed? What are the obstacles still preventing unsupervised FSD from being deployed to customer vehicles?
I'll start off with that, and then Ashok can elaborate. But we are expecting to have no safety drivers in at least large parts of Austin by the end of this year. So within a few months, we expect to have no safety drivers at all, at least in parts of Austin. We're obviously being very cautious about the deployment. So our goal is to be actually paranoid about deployment because obviously even one accident will be front page headline news worldwide. So it's better for us to take a cautious approach here. But we do expect to have no safety drivers in the car in Austin within a few months. I think that's perhaps the most important data point. And then we do expect to be operating robotaxi in, I think, about 8 to 10 metro areas by the end of the year. It depends on various regulatory approvals. But you can actually, I think most of our regulatory applications are online. You can kind of see them because they're public information. But we expect to be operating in Nevada and Florida and Arizona by the end of the year. Ashok?
Yeah, we continue to operate our fleet in Austin without anyone in the driver's seat. And we have covered more than 250,000 miles with that. And then in the Bay Area, where we still have a person in the driver's seat because of the regulations, we crossed more than 1 million miles. And we continue to see that the fleet, robotaxi fleet, works really well. Customers are really happy, and there's no notable issues. On the customer side, customers have used FSD Supervised for a total of 6 billion miles as of yesterday. So that's like a big milestone. And overall, the safety continues to be very good. And as Elon mentioned, we are on track to remove the person from inside the car altogether, starting with Austin.
Great. The next question is, what is the demand and backlog for Megapack, Powerwall, solar, or energy storage systems? With the current AI boom, is Tesla planning to supply power to other hyperscalers?
Thanks. Demand for Megapack and Powerwall continues to be really strong into next year. We received very strong positive customer feedback on our Megablock product, which will begin shipping next year out of Houston. And we're seeing remarkable growth in the demand for AI and data center applications as hyperscalers and utilities have seen the versatility of the Megapack product to increase reliability and relieve grid constraints, as Elon was talking about. We've also seen a surge in residential solar demand in the US due to policy changes, which we expect to continue into the first half of 2026 as we introduced a new solar lease product. And we also began production of our Tesla residential solar panel in our Buffalo factory, and we will be shipping that to customers starting Q1. The panel has industry-leading aesthetics and shade performance and demonstrates our continued commitment to US manufacturing.
Great. Thank you, Mike. Unfortunately, the next question is related to future products. This is not the appropriate venue to cover that, so we're going to have to skip it. The question after that is, What are the present challenges in bringing Optimus to market, considering app control software, engineering hardware, training general mobility models, training task-specific models, training voice models, implementing manufacturing, and establishing supply chains?
Yeah, I mean, bringing Optimus to market is an incredibly difficult task. To be clear, it's not like some walk in the park. At some point, I mean, actually, technically, Optimus can walk in the park right now. We do have Optimus robots that walk around our offices at our engineering headquarters in Palo Alto, California, basically 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So any visitors that come by, you actually you can stop one of the Optimus robots and ask it to take you somewhere, and it'll literally take you to that meeting room or that location in the building. So I don't want to downplay the difficulty of Optimus. It's an incredibly difficult thing, especially it's difficult to create a hand that is as dexterous and capable as the human hand, which is the human hand is an incredible thing. That the more you study the human hand, the more incredible you realize the human hand is, and why you need 4 fingers and a thumb, why the fingers have certain degrees of freedom, why the various muscles are of different strengths, the fingers are of different lengths, and it turns out actually that those are all there for a reason, and so making the hand and forearm, because most of the actuator, just like the human hand, the muscles that can forearm, the Optimus hand and forearm is an incredibly difficult engineering challenge. I'd say it's more difficult than the rest from an electromechanical standpoint. The forearm and hand is more difficult than the entire rest of the robot. But really, in order to have a useful generalized robot, you do need an incredible hand, and then you need the real world AI, and you need to be able to scale up that production to have it be relevant, because it's not relevant if it's just a few hundred robots. But so you need to be able to make Optimus robots at volumes comparable to vehicles, if not significantly higher. So if you're trying to make 1 million or something per year, trying to make 1 million Optimus robots per year, that manufacturing challenge is immense, considering that the supply chain doesn't exist. So with cars, you've got an existing supply chain. With computers, you've got an existing supply chain. With a humanoid robot, there is no supply chain. So in order to manufacture that, Tesla actually has to be very vertically integrated and manufacture very deep into the supply chain, manufacture the parts internally, because there just is no supply chain. So this is the kind of thing where I'm like, if I put myself in the position of a startup trying to make a humanoid robot, I'm like, I don't know how to do it without an immense amount of manufacturing technology. So that's why I think like Tesla's in some almost a unique, I think unique position when you consider manufacturing technology scaling, real world AI, and a truly dexterous hand. Those are generally the things that are missing when you read about other robots, that they just don't have those 3 things. So no, I think we can achieve all those things, those 3 things, with an immense amount of work, and that is the game plan. So my fundamental concern with regard to how much voting control I have in Tesla is, if I go ahead and build this enormous robot army, can I just be ousted at some point in the future? That's my biggest concern. That is really the only thing I'm trying to address with this. So it's called compensation, but it's not like I'm going to go spend the money. It's just, if we build this robot army, do I have at least a strong influence over that robot army? Not control, but a strong influence. That's what it comes down to in a nutshell. Like I don't feel comfortable building that robot army if I don't have at least a strong influence.
Great, thank you. We've already covered robotaxi expansion. Unfortunately, the question after that is another future product question, so we're going to have to skip that. The next one, though, is can you update us on the $16.5 billion Samsung chip deal in Taylor? Given the importance of semiconductors to autonomy in Tesla's AI-driven future, what gives you confidence Samsung can fulfill AI6 at Tesla's timelines and achieve relatively better yields and cost versus TSMC?
Okay, so I'm gonna give quite a long answer to this question because I have to unpack this question and then answer the unpacked version. So first of all, I have nothing but great things to say about Samsung. They're an amazing company, and Samsung, it is worth noting, does manufacture our AI4 computer and does a great job doing that. So now with the AI5, and here's I need to make a point of clarification relative to some comments I've made publicly before, which is we're actually going to focus both TSMC and Samsung initially on AI5. So the AI5 chip design by Tesla is, I think it's an amazing design. I have spent almost every weekend for the last few months with the chip design team working on AI5. And I don't hand out praise easily, but I have to say that I think the Tesla chip team is really designing an incredible chip here. This is, by some metrics, the AI5 chip will be 40 times better than the AI4 chip. Not 40%, 40 times. Because we have a detailed understanding of the entire software and hardware stack. So we're designing the hardware to address all of the pain points in software. So I don't think there really isn't anyone that's doing this, the entire stack, all the way through real world, calibrating against the real world where you've got cars and robots in real world. That, like, we know what the chip needs to do, and we know what, just as importantly, we know what the chip doesn't need to do. To sort of give you some examples here, with the AI5, we deleted the legacy GPU or the traditional GPU, which is it's in AI4, but AI5 does not have. We just deleted the legacy GPU because it basically is a GPU. So we also deleted the image signal processor, and there's like a long list of deletions that are very important. As a result of these deletions, we can actually fit AI5 in a half reticle, and with good margin for the traces from the memory to the trip, the Tesla trip accelerators, the ARM CPU cores, and the PCI X the PCI blocks. So this is a beautiful chip. I've poured so much life energy into this chip personally, and I'm confident this is going to be a winner, next level. So it makes sense to have both Samsung and TSMC focus on AI5. So even like technically the Samsung fab has slightly more advanced equipment than the TSMC fab. These will both be made in the U.S. In one TSMC in Arizona, Samsung in Texas, but it's we're going to make, starting off, just to be confident of having our goal, explicit goal, is to have an oversupply of AI5 chips. because if we have too many AI5 chips for the cars and robots, we can always put them in the data center. So we already use AI4 for training in our data center. So we use a combination of AI4 and NVIDIA hardware. We're not about to replace NVIDIA, to be clear, but we do use both in combination, AI4 and NVIDIA hardware, and the AI5 excess production we can always put in our data centers. NVIDIA keeps improving. The challenge that they have is that they've got to satisfy a large range, a lot of requirements from a lot of customers. But Tesla only has to satisfy requirements from one customer. That's Tesla. That makes the design job radically easier, and means we can delete a lot of complexity from the chip. I can't emphasize how important this is. So like when you look at the various logic blocks in the chip, as you increase the number of logic blocks, you also increase the interconnections between the logic blocks. So you can think of it like there's just highways. Like how many highways do you need to connect the various parts of the chip? And especially if you're not sure how much data is going to go between each logic block on the chip, then you kind of end up having giant highways going all over the place. It becomes an almost impossibly difficult design problem, and NVIDIA's done an amazing job of dealing with almost an impossibly difficult set of requirements. But in our case, we're going for radical simplicity, and the net effect is that I think AI5 will be the best performance per watt, maybe by a factor of 2 or 3, and the best performance per dollar for AI, maybe by a factor of 10. So, that's, we'll have to, the proof's in the pudding. So obviously we need to actually get this chip made and made at scale. But that's what it looks like.
Great. Thank you, Elon. We've already covered unsupervised FSD. So the next question is, instead of trying to replace hardware 3 with hardware 4, why not give an equal incentive to trade in for a new vehicle?
Yeah, we've not completely given up on hardware 3. However, over the last year, we've offered the customers the option to transfer FSD to their new vehicle, which at times we've been running some promotions. If they got FSD, they can get better preferential rates. So we've been definitely taking care of this, but we do want to solve autonomy first, and then we'll come back with a way to take care of these customers. These customers are very important. They were the early adapters. For what it's worth, my daily commuter is a hardware 3 car, which I use FSD on a daily basis. So we will definitely take care of you guys.
Great. Thank you.
In addition, once the V14's release series is fully done, we are planning on working on a V14 Lite version for hardware 3, probably expected in Q2 next year.
Awesome. Thanks, Ashok. Alrighty. Our final question from Say is, how long until we see self-driving Tesla semi-trucks? And could you see this technology replacing trains?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with that in terms of the semi production plan and schedule. So the factory is going on schedule. We've completed the building and are installing the equipment now. We've got our fleet of validation trucks driving on the road. We'll have larger builds towards the end of this year, and then our first online builds in the first part of next year, ramping into the Q2 timing with real volume coming in the back half of the year. So that's going quite well, and that's the first step to obviously getting autonomous trucks on the road. In terms of trains, they're really great for long point-to-point deliveries. They're super efficient, but that last mile, the load unload, can be better served for shorter distances with autonomous semis, and that would be great. And so we do expect that to probably shift as we, really, as Elon said, change the way transportation is considered. And so we're looking forward to that timeline. And Ashok, I know you can take the full self-driving part.
Currently, the team is super focused on solving for passenger vehicle autonomy. That said, the same technology will extend quite easily to the semi-truck once we have a little bit of data from the semi-trucks.
Great. And now we will move over to analyst questions. The first question comes from Emmanuel at Wolf. Emmanuel, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Great. Thanks so much. Hi, everybody. So, Elon, you talked about expanding production of vehicles as fast as possible now that you have confidence in the unsupervised autonomy. How should we think about that in the context of your existing capacity of 3 million units? Is that where you're hoping to get volume to? What sort of timeline are we talking about? And would this require, some level of boosting or incentivizing demand? Like, would this basically be prioritizing volume over near-term profitability given the longer-term opportunity?
Well, our capacity isn't quite 3 million, but it will be 3 million at some point. Aspirationally, it could be 3 million within. We could probably hit an annualized rate of 3 million within 24 months, I think, maybe less than 24 months. Bearing in mind, there's an entire supply chain, a vast supply chain that's got to also move in tandem with that. But we're gonna expand production as fast as we can, and as fast as our suppliers can sort of keep up with it. And then we're going to think about where do we build incremental factories beyond that. The single biggest expansion in production will be the Cybercab, which starts production in Q2 next year. That's really a vehicle that's optimized for full autonomy. It, in fact, does not have a steering wheel or pedals, and is really an engineering optimization on minimizing cost per mile, for fully considered cost per mile of operation. So that's, for our other vehicles, they still have a little bit of the horseless carriage thing going on, where obviously if you've got steering wheels and pedals and you're designing a car that people might want to go do fast acceleration and tight cornering, like high performance cars, then you're going to design a different car than one that is optimized for a comfortable ride, but doesn't expect to go past sort of 85 or 90 miles an hour, and it's just aiming for a gentle ride the whole time. That's what Cybercab is. Yeah, so it's. Do I think we'll sacrifice margins? I don't think so. I think the demand will be pretty nutty. Here's the killer app. Really, what it comes down to is, can you text it? Can you text while you're in the car? And if you tell someone, yes, the car is now so good, you can be on your phone and text the entire time while you're in the car. It's anyone who can buy the car will buy the car. And a story. That's what everybody wants to do. In fact, not everyone wants to. They do that, and that's why, in fact, the reason you've seen that there's been an uptick in accidents, pretty much worldwide, is because people are texting and driving. Autopilot actually dramatically improves the safety here, because if somebody's looking down at their phone, they're not driving very well. So that's really the game changer, and we do see, at this point, I feel essentially 100% confident. I say not essentially, 100% confident that we can solve unsupervised full self-driving at a safety level much greater than human. So we've released 14.1. We've got a technology roadmap that's, I think, pretty amazing. We'll be adding reasoning to the car. Our world simulator for reinforcement learning is pretty incredible. When you see it, the Tesla reality simulator, you can't tell the difference between the video that's generated by the Tesla reality simulator and the actual video. It looks exactly the same. So that allows us to have a very powerful reinforcement learning loop to further improve the Tesla AI. We're going to be increasing the parameter count by an order of magnitude. That's not in 14.1. There are also a number of other improvements to the AI, just that are quite radical. So it's this car will feel like it is a living creature. That's how good the AI will get with the AI4 computer. This is before AI5, and then AI5, like I said, is by some metrics 40 times better. Let's just say safely, it's a 10x improvement. So it might almost be too much intelligence for a car. I do wonder, like, how much intelligence should you have in a car? It might get bored. Actually. And then one of the things I thought, like, well, if we got all these cars that maybe are bored, well, while they're sort of, if they are bored, we could actually have a giant distributed inference fleet, and say, like, well, if they're not actively driving, let's just have a giant distributed inference fleet. At some point, if you've got like tens of millions of cars in the fleet, or maybe at some point 100 million cars in the fleet, and let's say they had at that point, I don't know, a kilowatt of inference capability of, high performance inference capability. That's 100 gigawatts of inference distributed with power and cooling taken with cooling and power conversion taken care of. So that seems like a pretty significant asset.
Great. Thanks, Elon. The next question comes from Adam from Morgan Stanley. Adam, please feel free to unmute yourself. Adam, go ahead and ask your question. Seems like we might be having some audio issues with Adam, so we'll come back to you. The next question will then come from Dan from Barclays.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for taking the question. Elon, I know that Tesla is really focused on, with Master Plan 4, bringing AI into the physical world. And I think we've seen over the past, this willingness for Tesla to engage and go into new markets, new TAMs. So when you think about the growth prospects, how do we define the areas that are really within Tesla's core competency versus where do you draw the line for markets or AI applications that are outside of Tesla's core competency?
Actually, I'm not sure what you mean by AI applications outside of Tesla's core competency. But I mean, we didn't have any of these core competencies when we started, So it's like we had zero core competencies, total competency of zero, actually. So I mean, you can think of Tesla as, like, I don't know, a dozen startups in one company. And I've initiated every one of those startups. So it's we didn't used to make battery packs, so stationary battery packs, but now we do. We make them for the home, make them for utility scale with Powerwall Megapack. We created the supercharger network globally. No one else has created a global supercharger network. In fact, that North American supercharger network is so good at that basically every other manufacturer in North America has converted to our standard, and uses the Tesla supercharger network. But if it was so easy, why don't they just do it? And the chip design team started that from scratch. The Tesla AI software team was started from scratch. I literally just say, hey, we're going to start this thing. I post it on Twitter, now X, and then join us if you'd like to build it. In fact, Ashok was, I believe, the first person I interviewed for the Tesla Autopilot team, which we now call the Tesla AI software team, because it is the AI software team. So it's core competencies created while you wait. And Optimus at scale is the infinite money glitch. It's like it's difficult to express the magnitude of, like, if you've got something if Optimus, I think, could probably achieve 5x the productivity of a person per year because it can operate 24/7. It doesn't even need to charge; it can operate it tethered, so it's plugged in the whole time. That's why I call it, like, if you're true of sustainable abundance, where working will be optional. There's a limit to how much AI can do in terms of enhancing the productivity of humans, but there is not really a limit to AI that is embodied. That's why I call it the infinite money glitch.
I mean, one thing which I'll further add is, I mean, people forget, like, our first iteration of autopilot was 10 years back. So, Elon had started this way back in the
Yeah.
day.
We've got the tweets to prove it.
Exactly. And then even on the Optimus side, right, as much as people think, okay, this is a new thing, I still remember, was it 4+ years back, we were in a finance meeting with Elon, and Elon said, hey, our car is a robot on wheels. And that's where we started developing. In fact, most of the engineering team, which is working on Optimus, has come from the vehicle side. And that's why, when we talk about manufacturing prowess, we have the wherewithal because the same engineers who worked back in the day on drive units are working on actuators now. So that's where we can do, if there is any company which can do it at scale, that is going to be us.
But we also have actually added a lot of new engineers as well to the team. So there's actually a lot of the credit for the Optimus engineering is actually also new engineers, many of them that are just out of college, actually.
Yeah.
So the Optimus engineering team is a very talented engineering team. I'd say, like, wow, actually. So, the Optimus reviews at this point are that there's the engineering review, and then there's the manufacturing review being done simultaneously with an iterative loop between engineering design and manufacturing. Because then we design something and we say, like, oh man, that's really difficult to make. We need to change that design to make it easier to manufacture. So we made radical improvements to the design of Optimus while increasing the functionality, but making it actually possible to manufacture. Like, I'd say Optimus 2 is almost impossible to manufacture, frankly. But to Vaibhav's point, we've gone from a person in a robot outfit to what people have seen with Optimus 2.5, where it's doing kung fu. It was like Optimus was at the Tron premiere, doing kung fu, just out in the open, like with Jared Leto. Like, there wasn't nobody was controlling it. It was just doing kung fu with Jared Leto, at the Tron premiere. You can see the videos online. Actually, the funny thing is, like, a lot of people walked past it thinking it was just a person, even though with Optimus 2.5, you can see that it has a waist that's 3 inches wide, which is obviously not a human. But the movements were so human-like that a lot of people didn't realize they were looking at a robot. So, and what I'm saying is, like, Optimus 3 will be a giant improvement on that, and made it scale. But like I said, a very difficult thing. The Optimus sort of engineering and manufacturing reviews, and there's the Friday night meeting with Optimus, which sometimes goes till midnight, and then my Saturday meeting is the Saturday afternoons with the AI 5 chip design team. So those two things are crucial to the future of the company.
Great. And Dan, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, just as a related, maybe you could just talk about to what extent are the AI efforts at Tesla and XAI complementary, or are they just different forms of AI? Maybe you could just help distinguish for the audience. Thank you.
Yeah, there are different forms of AI. So the you know the XAI, so Grok is like a giant model that you could not possibly squeeze Grok onto a car. That's for sure. It is a giant beast of a model. It's with Grok, it's trying to solve for artificial general intelligence with a massive amount of AI training compute and inference compute. So, for example, for Grok 5 will actually only run effectively on a GB300. That's how much of a beast that Grok 5 is. So, whereas Tesla's, models are, I don't know, maybe about less than 10% the size, maybe closer to 5% the size of Grok. So, yeah, they're really coming at the problem from very different angles. XAI and Grok are they're competing with Google Gemini and OpenAI ChatGPT and that kind of thing. So and some of it's complementary. I mean, for example, for Grok Voice, being able to interact with Grok in the car is cool. Grok for Optimus voice recognition and voice generation is Grok, so that's helpful there. But they are coming at it from kind of opposite ends of the spectrum.
Alrighty. Adam, let's give it another try. When you're ready, please unmute yourself for the next question. Alrighty, unfortunately, still having audio issues. So we're going to move on to Walt from Lightshed. Walt, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Just getting back to Austin, if you can remove the safety driver at year end, is the limitation in the Bay Area just regulatory, or is it kind of the market by market learning process? And I guess similarly in the 8 to 10 markets that you mentioned to get added, is the decision there to put a safety attendant in the passenger seat or the safety driver in? Is that like your step-by-step process to opening up a market, or is it really just the regulation in the individual market?
Well, I think even if the regulators weren't making us do it, we'd still do that as the sort of right sort of cautious approach to a new market. So just to make sure that we're being paranoid about safety, I think it makes sense to have a sort of either safety driver or safety occupant in the car when we first go to new markets to confirm that there's not something we're missing. Because all it takes is like 1 in 10,000 trips to go wrong, and you've got an issue. So it's just to make sure, like, is there some peculiarity about a city, like a very difficult intersection, or I don't know, something that's an unexpected challenge in a city for that 1 in 10,000 situation. So I think we probably could just let it loose in these cities, but we don't want to take a chance. And like what we're talking about here is maybe 3 months of safety driver in a new metro to confirm that it's good, and then we take the safety driver out, that kind of thing.
Okay, and then on FSD 14, it has a different feel than 13, and it's also, I think, a little different than what it feels like in Austin. Is it basically different development path that you're doing in terms of the robotaxi stuff versus what you're dropping to the early adopters? And when you push these new builds, is it that you're looking for notable improvements in intervention rates, or is that largely solved and it's more about adding the functionality like the parking, the drive modes, or just the overall comfort?
No, the first priority when we release a major new software architecture for autopilot is safety. So it starts off with safety, obviously safety prioritized, and then we solve comfort thereafter, which is why I don't recommend people take the initial version like that's why I say most people should wait until 14.2 before they actually download version 14, because by 14.2 we'll have addressed many of the comfort issues. The priority is very much safety first, and then thereafter the comfort issues. That's why most people I'm like, probably it'll be a little it'll be safe but jerky, and we just need time to kind of smooth the rough edges and solve for comfort in addition to safety with a major news autopilot architecture change. But it really is. I mean, I know what the roadmap is for the Tesla real world AI and at a very granular detail. Obviously, Ashok is leading that. And I mean, I spent a lot of time with the team going, in like excruciating detail here on what we're doing to improve the real world AI. Like I said, this car is going to feel like it is a living creature, and that's with AI 4 before even AI 5.
Yeah, the roadmap is super exhilarating. It's so waiting so much release all the stuff we are working on in terms of what we ship to customers versus robotaxi. It's mostly the same. Obviously, customers have some more features they can choose whether the car wants to park in a spot or in a driveway or something like that, which is not super relevant for robotaxi. But there's only a few minor changes like those ones. But the majority of the algorithms and architecture, everything is the same between those two platforms.
Yeah, but and as I mentioned earlier, we'll be adding reasoning to I don't know, Ashok, is that reasoning in 14.3, maybe 14.4, something like that?
Yeah, or by end of this year for sure.
Yeah. So with reasoning, it's literally going to think about which parking spot to pick at the. So it's going to say this is the entrance, but actually probably there's not a parking spot right at the entrance. If it's a full, if the parking lot is fairly full, the probability of an open parking spot right at the entrance is very low. But actually, what it'll simply do is drop you off at the entrance of the store and then go find a parking spot. But it's going to get very smart about figuring out a parking spot. It's going to it's going to spot empty spots much better than a human. It's got 360-degree vision, and it's going to like I said, just it's going to use reasoning to solve things.
And putting that all inside the computer that has AI4 is the actual challenge. And that's what the team is working on. Because obviously you can do reasoning on the server that takes forever, but then in the car you need to make real-time decisions. So putting all that into the computer that's in the car, that's the challenge.
Yeah, that's why I say I have a pretty good understanding of AI, the sort of the giant model level with Grok and with Tesla, and I'm confident in saying that Tesla has the Tesla AI has the highest intelligence density. When you look at the intelligence per gigabyte, I think Tesla AI is probably an order of magnitude better than anyone else. And it doesn't have any choice because that AI has got to fit in the AI4 computer. But the discipline of having that level of AI intelligence density will pay great dividends when you go to something that has an order of magnitude more capability like AI5. Now you have that same intelligence density, but you've got 10 times more capability in the computer.
Great. The next question will come from Colin at Oppenheimer. Colin, please unmute yourself when you're ready. Colin, go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate you bringing up the challenges of hand dexterity in humanoids, along with the complexity of the supply chain and the vertical integration you guys are pursuing. I'm just trying to harmonize the timeline for the start of production, next year with the current state of the supply chain, and what sounds like a fair amount of work remaining on the dexterity before you can really freeze the hardware design and start to scale up production.
Well, we're not, the hardware design will not actually be frozen even through startup production. There'll be continued iteration because a bunch of the things that you discover are very difficult to make. You only find that pretty late in the game. So we'll be doing rolling changes for the Optimus design even after startup production. But I do think that the new hand is an incredible piece of engineering, and that's well, like I said, we'll have a production intent prototype ready to show off in Q1, probably February or March, and then we're going to be building a million unit Optimus production line. Hopefully with a production start towards the end of next year. But that production ramp will take a while to get to annualized rate of 1 million because it's going to move as fast as the slowest, dumbest, least lucky thing out of 10,000 unique items. But it will get to 1 million units, and then ultimately, we'll do Optimus 4. That'll be 10 million units. Optimus 5 maybe 50 to 100 million units. I mean, it's really pretty nutty.
Alrighty. That is unfortunately all the time we have for Q&A today. Before we conclude, though, Vaibhav has some closing remarks.
Thanks, Travis. I want to take the time to talk about an extremely important vote, which is being held on November 6th. The meeting will shape the future of Tesla, and we are asking you, as our shareholders, to support Elon's leadership through the 2 compensation proposals and the re-election of Ira, Kathleen, and Joe to the board. Note that it is a team sport, and here at Tesla, the board is an integral part of the winning team. Shareholders are at the center of everything we do at Tesla, and a special committee has laid out a compensation package. Like Elon said, we don't even want to call it a compensation package.
Yeah, it's not. The point is, I just like there needs to be enough voting control to give a strong influence, but not so much that I can't be fired if I go insane. But and I think that sort of number is in the mid-20s approximately. As a company that has already gone public, we've investigated every possible way to how do you achieve increased voting control without is there some way to have like a super voting stock? But there really isn't. There is no way to have a super voting stock after you've gone public. But for example, Google, Meta, many other companies have this, but they had it before they went public, and so it sort of gets, I guess, grandfathered in. Tesla does not have that, so it's just. Like I said, I just don't feel comfortable building a robot army here and then being ousted because of some asinine recommendations from ISS and Glass Lewis who have no friggin' clue. I mean, those guys are corporate terrorists. And the problem, so let me explain the core problem here is that so many of the index funds, the passive funds, vote along the lines of whatever Glass Lewis and ISS recommend. Now, they've made many terrible recommendations in the past that, if those recommendations had been followed, would have been extremely destructive to the future of the company. But if you've got passive funds that essentially defer responsibility for the vote to Glass Lewis and ISS, then you can have extremely disastrous consequences for a publicly traded company if too much of the publicly traded company is controlled by index funds. It's de facto controlled by Glass Lewis and ISS. This is a fundamental problem for corporate governance because they're not voting along the lines that are actually good for shareholders. That's the big issue. I mean, that's what it comes down to. ISS, Glass Lewis, corporate terrorism.
Yeah, and I would say, the special committee did an amazing job in constructing this plan for the benefit of the shareholders. There's nothing which gets passed on till the time shareholders make substantial returns. So that's why, in the end, I would say, I would urge you to not only vote on the plan, but also vote on all the three directors because of their exceptional knowledge and experience. And literally, we at Tesla work with these directors day in, day out. I mean, there is not even a single day that one of the directors I haven't spoken to or one of my colleague hasn't spoken to. And even the directors out here are not just reading out of PowerPoint presentations. They're actually working with us day in, day out. So again, I just urge you guys as shareholders to vote along the board's recommendation. Thank you, guys.
Great. Thank you, Vaibhav.